While coffee is a beloved beverage enjoyed by many, it's important to be aware of both its potential benefits and drawbacks. Here are some aspects of coffee's effects on the body that some may consider ugly truths. 1. Caffeine dependence. Coffee contains caffeine, a stimulant that can lead to dependence in some individuals. Regular consumption of caffeine can lead to tolerance, requiring larger doses over time to achieve the same effects. Withdrawal symptoms such as headaches, fatigue, irritability, and difficulty concentrating may occur when caffeine consumption is reduced or discontinued. 2. Disrupted sleep. Consuming coffee, especially in the afternoon or evening, can interfere with sleep quality and quantity. Caffeine-stimulating effects can make it difficult to fall asleep and may reduce overall sleep duration. Poor sleep can have a negative impact on mood, cognitive function, and overall health. 3. Increased anxiety and jitters. For some individuals, consuming too much caffeine can lead to feelings of anxiety, nervousness, and jitteriness. This is especially true for those who are sensitive to caffeine or consume large amounts in a short period of time. Excessive caffeine intake may exacerbate symptoms of anxiety disorders or panic attacks. 4. Digestive issues. Coffee is acidic and can irritate the gastrointestinal tract in some people, leading to digestive issues such as heartburn, acid reflux, and stomach discomfort. Additionally, caffeine has a laxative effect for some individuals, which can result in increased bowel movements or diarrhea. 5. Blood pressure and heart health. While moderate coffee consumption is generally considered safe for most people, excessive intake may temporarily increase blood pressure and heart rate. This effect is more pronounced in individuals who are not regular coffee drinkers or who are sensitive to caffeine. Individuals with certain heart conditions or hypertension should limit their caffeine intake and consult with a healthcare professional. 6. Staining and tooth decay. Coffee contains tannins, which can lead to tooth staining over time, especially if consumed regularly. Additionally, adding sugar or sweeteners to coffee can contribute to tooth decay and cavities. Practicing good oral hygiene, such as brushing and flossing regularly, can help mitigate these effects. 7. Bone health. Some research suggests that excessive caffeine intake may negatively affect bone health and increase the risk of osteoporosis, especially in older adults. Caffeine may interfere with calcium absorption and contribute to bone mineral density loss over time. However, the overall impact of moderate coffee consumption on bone health is still debated. It's important to note that coffee affects individuals differently, and what may be true for one person may not apply to another. Additionally, many of coffee's negative effects can be mitigated by consuming it in moderation and being mindful of individual tolerance levels. As with any dietary choice, it's essential to listen to your body and make informed decisions based on your own health and preferences. If you have concerns about your coffee consumption or its effects on your health, consider speaking with a healthcare professional for personalized advice. 1. Coffee can affect your sleep. We know, you know that one already. But did you know how the caffeine in coffee actually messes with your sleep pattern? Throwing back an espresso just before a big presentation or assignment won't work. It takes up to 45 minutes for caffeine to power up inside your body and provide the temporary alertness that a tired brain sometimes needs. However, once in your system, caffeine will continue to stimulate your brain activity for around 5-6 hours. If you want to sleep well, drink your coffee early in the day and avoid that winding down evening brew. 2. Coffee can give you the jitters. That stimulating effect isn't always a positive thing. In fact, when you think about coffee's effect on your body, it can be downright ugly. Caffeine stimulates the nervous system, creating that temporary focus, but too much can make you feel the opposite of calm and in control. Instead, the excess caffeine makes you jittery and shaky. Your adrenaline levels might also respond, placing you in a fight or flight state of mind. In turn, this can adversely affect anyone with an irregular heartbeat or high blood pressure. 3. Coffee can cause heart palpitations. Talking about heartbeats, one of the ugly truths about coffee's effect on your body is that caffeine can cause heart palpitations in some people, which can then lead to associated anxiety over the condition. In a few rare cases, this can signal a heart condition that may need medical attention. If you experience heart palpitations, please do see your doctor. 4. Coffee can cause headaches. This is a tricky one, and a common truth about the effects of coffee on your body. Caffeine can cause the tiny blood vessels in your brain to constrict. When you stop drinking caffeine coffee, the blood vessels dilate, increasing blood flow around the brain, triggering a headache. However, if you decide to quit coffee altogether, then some people experience withdrawal symptoms for up to 2 weeks. One of the symptoms? Yep, you've guessed it, headaches. Major protein mistake everyone makes. Major protein mistake everyone makes. Pasta isn't unhealthy, you're eating it wrong. Pasta isn't unhealthy, you're eating it wrong. Mystery surrounds disturbing Tim Tam packet. Mystery surrounds disturbing Tim Tam packet. Every morning, millions of people perform an essential daily ritual, having their first cup of tea or coffee. It concentrates the mind and acts as a pick-me-up. Or does it? The latest research suggests that familiar buzz doesn't so much as give us a lift, but fights the caffeine withdrawal symptoms, fatigue, mental fogginess, and a dull headache that have kicked in since our last cup. Indeed, experts suggest that this morning ritual is actually a sign of mass drug dependency. People who consume caffeine regularly will become dependent on it. If you take caffeine away from them, they will function below par, says Peter Rogers, professor of biological psychology at Bristol University and a leading expert on caffeine. They just don't function normally without the drug on board. If it's your first tea or coffee of the day, it gets you back to normal, but beyond that you don't get much more of a kick. Professor Rogers has studied coffee and its effects for more than 20 years and, as a result, he and other members of his team have given up caffeine. On balance, caffeine is not particularly helpful. It triggers withdrawal and increases your blood pressure, which is not a good thing, he says. I sometimes think one of the biggest effects of my research work has been on my department. 4 or 5 colleagues have given up caffeine, and we're all on decaf. The idea that caffeine doesn't perk up your brain might sound absurd, but that's what Professor Rogers' research shows. In one key study, around 300 volunteers have had a moderate to high caffeine intake, the others had a low intake, were asked to stop drinking coffee for 16 hours before undergoing tests. The volunteers were randomly split into 2 groups and given a placebo or coffee. The results, in the journal Neuropsychopharmacology, were intriguing. Though the regular coffee drinkers did have an increase in alertness following the coffee, this only made them as alert as non-coffee drinkers who had the placebo. In other words, drinking coffee doesn't make us any more alert than non-coffee drinkers. Although if barista Kazuki Yamamoto, who took this photo, served you up this coffee you wouldn't complain.